10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. I'm glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're with us on this Thursday, September 4th, 2025. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM, as usual, weekday mornings. And we're also streaming live at cklu.ca. Just click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can stream us. You can also download the same Radio Player Canada app and take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. And also streaming live at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News simultaneously. It could also be found on demand immediately following the show on those two platforms, along with x.com/Sudbury News, Sudbury.news, which is our local news aggregator. And so make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow all the social media platforms. Check out Sudbury.news. It's an aggregator that aggregates all the local news into one convenient web page. So you get your Sudbury Star, Sudbury.com, CBC Sudbury, CTV Northern Ontario, all on one web page. This in answer to the government's policies that makes it impossible through regulation to share news, whether it's international, national, regional, local news on Facebook, the world's largest social media platform. So we thought, hey, why don't we just make an easy solution for people to get local news? And that's how Sudbury.news was born, going along with Sudbury News Talk, where we get together each and every weekday morning to chat about the news, to share our views on issues that affect us, not only locally, regionally, nationally. International things also affect us here, right? If you hear of the Middle East going to blow up, which is possible, in any given moment, that could affect you here. You could actually feel some stress locally about something like that. So we will talk about pretty much anything, and it's comment driven. So we welcome all comments from you and we have a conversation. It's like getting together at your favorite coffee shop in the morning, enjoy your favorite beverage, chat with your friends, but we do it on the radio and on live stream each and every morning. So encourage everyone to comment. We do have a special guest who's waiting to come on. We're going to do some weather and, a little bit of housekeeping first, and then we'll maybe welcome a few of you on as we can see you here. And then we'll welcome Alan J. Walsh onto the show. As we mentioned in the last couple of shows, we're going to be talking about the Sudbury Jazz Festival and jazz music in general, who Alan J. Walsh is. So AJ Walsh will be interviewing AJ Walsh this morning, but it's not the same person. So it's just not every day that you get something like that. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great show. I promise, or your money back. We'll be back right after the weather. Stay tuned. And as usual, weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. Currently, it is 6 degrees. It's mostly cloudy out there. Today, we can expect a mix of sun and cloud with a 40% chance of showers. Wind becoming 40 kilometers per hour. High of 15, so rather cool today. UV index is 4 or moderate. Tonight, mainly cloudy with a 40% chance of showers. And low tonight, 7 degrees. And then tomorrow, showers, thunderstorms in the afternoon. Probably 10 to 15 millimeters of rain expected. Wind will be gusting up to 70 kilometers in the morning. High of 14, so again, another cool one. And then on Saturday, looks like a 40% chance of showers. High of 14 again, and then it goes even lower. 12 degrees on Sunday with a high of high of 12 degrees with a 60% chance of showers. Cloudy on Monday and Tuesday, 17, 18 degrees for your Monday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday, looking forward a week from now, it'll be 19 degrees, or at least that's what's forecast, with a 30% chance of showers. So what you got is a lot of rain for the next, 6 days or so, or at least a lot of chances of rain. And I guess that's good to some degree, and we need rain. But also, I'm just more of a fan of the sun, so I'm just hoping the sun will come back. As a young man going to school, I just remember usually the first week of school was rainy, and I don't know why that is, but it just went along with, I wasn't super excited for my first week of school, but everyone's different. Some people enjoyed it. But that is your Sudbury weather, and it is brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with Alan Walsh, who will be talking about the Sudbury Jazz Festival, and we'll get as many comments in as possible here, some morning shout outs, and we'll have a great interview. We might even get to some news headlines and some discussion this morning as well. We'll see how the show goes. We'll be back right after this. Okay, and as we wait for Alan here, well, he is waiting already. He's there, and his mic is sounding wonderful. His camera's working amazing, so we're going to be getting him in any second here now. But I just want to give a few shout outs to the people who are joining us. Judy, good morning to you. Hazel, good morning. Prayer emojis and other emojis that I can't see because they're too small, but much appreciated, much needed. Monique, good morning. Sudbury, good morning to you as well as Larry. Belinda, good morning. And you usually have some kind of positive comment of the day. We know that no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it. Keep fighting for the truth and expose their true intent. Double heart emoji. Yes, for sure. Should always be questioning everything and everyone. And some people do have ulterior motives, and it does happen. And Dustin, first time seeing you on, so much appreciated. Police chief has said about defending yourself. No, I have not, but that will be, if we get to it today, we might have to wait till tomorrow. That's been in the news. A lot of crime in Sudbury. So, yeah, really great alias there, Dustin Chance. So, Justin Chase, so just in case, for sure. So, Monique, good morning. Sudbury Steffi, good morning to you. A few other comments here. Appreciate it. Trevor, good morning. And so we got a few of the shout outs in this morning. I'm just trying to see who else is joining us. A lot of comments. And we might as well just welcome Alan in and let him know that we do have people who are commenting on different things. There's a conversation, usually a sidebar going on. So it might be distracting. I'm just going to have the comments coming up on the screen as we're talking. And then some of them might even apply to what we're talking about, which would be great. So if I can see any of the questions for yourself, I'll make sure to pose them. And if you see any questions that come on, just answer them yourself. So Alan J. Walsh on the show this morning. Thanks for joining us. You also have a show on CKLU. You're a jazz musician. You got all kinds of things going. So I want to introduce you to the community. So welcome this morning. And how are you doing?
I'm good, Aaron. Thank you very much for doing this. This is great.
Yeah, and I say welcome you to the community, but just welcome you to our show. You've already had your own show. For how long on CKLU now?
Oh, my goodness. Quite a while. Oh, gee. I think at least 10 years, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, so you're even beating me. I think we're going on our 8th year. We're on our 8th year now because we started off as Sudbury Sports Talk on CKLU. So yeah, you were already doing your show a few years before me. And you have a jazz, what's the name of the show again?
Jazz Sounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you play jazz music on your show.
I do.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about you, your background, and so if you give a little bit of a bio of yourself for our audience.
Sure. Well, I guess I'm originally from Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown, and there was a military Dutchman who came to Charlottetown, PEI, and he started the music programs in the schools. And so I got a clarinet. I wanted to have a saxophone because saxophone was so cool looking, but I didn't get a saxophone. I got a clarinet, which was fine. And I really do enjoy playing the clarinet now. And my captain of the military school started recruiting the young high school players to play in the military band. So I did that as well. And so I got a really great background in music. And I started at the University of Prince Edward Island, and I was going to do a Bachelor of Music. And I was doing a lot of symphonic music and classical music. But I was looking for something else. I was looking for something that I really enjoyed, taking my clarinet out and just playing whatever I wanted, whatever came to my mind, and that of course is called improvisation. And so I was very interested in that. So I decided, well, where can I go to learn more about this type of music? And there was a school down in Boston called the Berklee College of Music. So I went there. And I was very, very happy that I did, because I got the jazz bug, and I did that for many, many years. Then I moved to Montreal, and I met Robert Paquette, a French singer-songwriter, and I started with his band, and I played with Robert all over the world for about 8 years. It was absolutely fantastic, playing in Paris and Switzerland and all across Canada and down through the States, and it was just wonderful. And but then I met a woman here in Sudbury when I was playing at the Northern Lights Festival Boreal, and she came to Montreal, and we got married there. We started having children, and she was saying, "Well, are you going to be touring all over the place all the time?" And so we had a discussion about that, and we said, "Well, that might not be great for the kids. You know, what can we do?" And she said, "Well, if you come back with me to Sudbury, I can probably get a job at the university teaching nursing," because she was a nurse, and she did do that. And then I finished off my degree at Laurentian, and then I got a job there as well. And I played music and taught music and taught jazz music at Laurentian for, I guess about 20 years, until they had the trouble with Laurentian, and they got rid of a lot of the programs, and music just happened to be one of those programs. So I also met some other great musicians here in Sudbury. There's a really great history of jazz music here in Sudbury. And when I was playing with Robert Paquette at the Northern Lights Festival Boreal, I met a couple of jazz musicians here in Sudbury. And one of them was Tony Simkin. Another one was Brian Quebec. And we started a group, and we played in a quartet for quite a few years, and we still play now. And Tony is kind of my main man here in town. For if I have a gig, then Tony is the piano player for us. So that's basically my background, and that's how I ended up here in Sudbury. And then I got in touch with actually our mayor right now. Was one of the first gentlemen that started the Jazz Sudbury Festival. And so then Paul Lefebvre went into politics, and he wasn't able to keep his position in the Jazz Sudbury Festival. So then he asked me if I would start with the festival, and I did, and I've been with them for 12 years now.
Nice. You said so many things that I just wanted to come in and say, "Oh yeah, well, do you know about this?" Or just said so many things about, your journey and being from the East Coast. My dad's from Sydney Mines, which is just south of Prince Edward Island there on Nova Scotia, and Cape Breton Island.
Breton.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of really great musicians from. There's one fellow. He's in Toronto right now. His name is Kirk MacDonald. He's from Cape Breton. terrific saxophone player.
Oh yeah, it's known for their musicians, and then you talked about also just wanting to improvise with your instruments. A lot of people are familiar with comedy improvisation, but maybe not
Yes.
if they're not musicians. They're not really that privy to doing it as a musician, and that's what I do. Billy Brumiller, are you familiar with him at all from Easter Island
Yes,
Studios?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So him and I get together. He was instrumental in the beginning of the Sudbury News and getting all the sound done and whatever. He's been on the show many
Right.
times. And we share a studio together now. We actually live in the same complex and whatever. So we do that. We get together once a week. We're getting to get together tonight, and we just jam and we just improvise.
Wow.
And
That's
we
very
record.
cool.
Yeah, we record everything, and it's amazing how sometimes, and you'll know this, and you can't explain it, how you just get into the zone with everybody's on the same page. They're tapped into the same frequency somehow. And you're playing a song that no one's ever heard before, but you're creating something on the spot with 4 or 5 or even more musicians. And you're like, how is this even possible? And it's just there's something therapeutic about it. And it's very soulful. And so, yeah, you definitely would know about that. Now, it was interesting when you said clarinet of all the instruments. What instrument were you playing the clarinet when you were traveling all over the world, or did you then start?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the thing that was interesting is when I went to school for the jazz music, saxophone is certainly more well known for jazz than clarinet is, but all the instruments are part of jazz. So when I met Robert and he found out that I did play clarinet, he was very interested in that sound and was very happy that he would have a good musician play clarinet. So it was kind of interesting that and now, of course, with world music, there's every instrument is involved in they're connecting, different cultures. It's very, very interesting.
It is. And another thing too, even just you're a teacher of music, and I thought that was really cool that you can actually teach jazz of all things. You know what I mean? It's just that's a really cool thing to be able to do. Is when you introduce, like you said, you were introduced to music at a young age. I was as well. That came to the school. Like we'd have bands that would just come to the school, and you're like, wow, how is that even possible? It's like magic. It's just beautiful. It's on another level. So I thought, as just an exercise with just people who aren't musicians, is that you give them an instrument of some kind. And then there's, like you said, there's so many different instruments out there, ones that I've never even heard of, and I've been into music all my life. But you get all these instruments, you just hand them out to everybody and you say, okay, just hit it once. So just hit once, and you get maybe a metronome going or something. You hit that once. Now you hit it twice. Now you blow into this and hit that. No. And you could really see with, a group of people all doing one thing with their instrument, it would then turn into this collective piece. You know what I mean? It would be actually a rhythm. It would, and people would say, wow, I could be part of this just by hitting this triangle once every so often, It's magical. Magical. And,
they always say that music is a language. It's another language that we can use to reach people. There are many therapies that are becoming very, very popular now. Music therapy in particular, for seniors, but also for young people as well, to reach people that are having dementia and forgetting memories and things like that. And they've done research now where they can play a song that someone who might be 99 years old, and they used to sing that song when they were 3 or 4 years old, and you can play that for them, and that memory will come back to them, even if they've lost all their memory of who their family are or anything. It's really quite incredible.
Yeah. And to me, it just shows the power and where music actually exists in us. It might not just be in our brains, right? I think it's a spiritual thing. I think it's in us.
Absolutely.
In another part of us somewhere. And yeah, so so we agree on so many things with music and how powerful it is and what it does for us personally as well. And we probably know a lot of the same people in the community in the music world. You more than myself, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit about how you got your name.
How I got my name. Well, that's a good one.
So this is more of a joke because we have the same, I guess, the
Yeah.
same initials, A.J.
Yeah.
Walsh, Alan J.
Yeah.
And what's your middle name, if you don't mind me asking?
Joseph.
Okay, so we got a different middle name, but the same. Mine's James, so same
Okay.
letter, but we end up with the same name. So I'm sure there's been the odd, Alan Walsh, Aaron Walsh. It almost sounds similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Have a show on CKLU. It's like if someone was trying to describe someone,
know.
they got a
Yeah.
beard. It's kind of going a bit gray or whatever. Like I usually wear glasses too. So, anyways, it's just interesting how that
it
happens.
is.
And I
It is.
wonder if we are related because I have much family from. I think the Walshes from my genealogy go back to Newfoundland mainly. And you being
Okay.
on Prince Edward Island, it's not all that far away, and it's easy to see how
There might be a connection for sure.
could be a connection.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's interesting. Both my grandmother and my grandfather, both their last names were Walsh. They were not related.
Wow.
Both their last names were Walsh. So I have two lines of Walshes in my genealogy, right?
That's
So
very interesting.
it is very interesting.
Wow.
So now you're you're involved with Northern Lights Festival Boreal. It's been going on. No, you're not Northern Lights Festival Boreal. You've actually played there, I'm sure, many times.
That's right.
But Sudbury Jazz Festival, how long has it been around again, you said?
Well, that's about 12 years now.
Okay.
12, 13. Yep.
And how has it been going? Like, because it's been through, like, I think the pandemic would have done a number on it, obviously,
Well,
right?
actually,
So-
we had a great executive director that year, Catherine, and she decided we should do a thing downtown called Jazzed Up Sudbury, and so we got some tents, and we would do Saturday afternoon in the morning through until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the parking lot of the TD Bank right downtown. And every Saturday we did that for the whole summer so that people could move, far away from each other, but still be able to listen to the music and have live music. So that was really, really great.
and it being
and-
outdoors in the first place was
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
that was really, really great. And so we were able to continue the festival through that year, and it worked very, very well. And of course, the governments, the provincial and national governments gave money to institutions to keep art going and culture happening. So that was very, very helpful. And through that, we were able to still have a little extra money left to keep that program going through the year. And so I came up with the idea of starting a little jazz bistro in the Place des Arts. And we did that for 2 years, and it really was really, really great. And people really enjoyed coming to the bistro, every Wednesday evening and just having a drink or having something to eat and listening to some local jazz music.
Now, when you say local jazz music, and I know a lot of jazz is improvisation, but there are some standards too, right? So how do you, when you're doing a jazz gig, like how do you get your set list and whatever? Like, do you say, okay, we're gonna do these standards, or we're just gonna go with the flow? We're gonna start off with a standard, and if it starts to morph, like how do you go about it?
Yeah, it's they have books that are called. In fact, they started them when I was in college in Boston, and they call them fake books. And the idea of improvising is that you're making something up at a, like, you know, but you have to, there's no vacuum, right? I mean, we always say, where did Beethoven get his ideas for his music? Well, he listened to Haydn and he listened to Mozart, and they all listened to each other. You know, it isn't just something that comes out of a vacuum. So there's always music happening, you know, in history right back. So the same is true for jazz music. So they decided, the students in Boston, they said, well, we should make up a book of all those standard jazz songs that we like to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so they took those fake books and printed them. They were actually illegal because they weren't paying the publication for each of those songs. So then that was trouble. So it was kind of like the only way you could get your fake book was to go down to the record store. Of course, there's no record stores anymore, but jazz musicians and musicians, probably you yourself, used to go to the record store and just hang out and stay and talk to. You'll find other people who are listening to music and buying records, and so that's where you went and got your fake book. You went and you asked you asked the owners, do you have those fake books? And so they would have them under the cupboard, and that's how you got your fake book. But then they became legal, and so the publications were paid to the publishing companies, and so that's how it started. Was this idea of. But then there were jazz musicians who decided, well, we don't want to just do the standard things. We want to write our own music as well, and so that started. And then those songs also became part of those fake books.
Very interesting history lesson there, Alan. Thank you very much for that. Now, you don't only do jazz, and that's what you'll find too with jazz musicians. There's a close tie to blues and other forms of music.
That's right.
So what are the other types of music that you enjoy playing and that you do
play?
play?
I play classical music as well, and I've played with the symphony for many, many years. I'm not a standard player, but if they need a clarinet or a saxophone, they'll give me a call, and if I'm able to play that concert, I will. And I really, really enjoy it. And I like folk music. The music that I played with Robert Paquette, there were Franco, folk, But then my playing, my jazz music, was a flavor that Robert enjoyed in his music, which changed his sound, and then changed the way I played, and so that happened as well. So I find that jazz musicians are perhaps a little more, they find it easier to play in different musics, because jazz music is very much like that. And as you were saying, blues is a big part of jazz music, and classical music was as well. And so it's interesting that now we have a lot of Latin music has become very, very popular because of people like Dizzy Gillespie, the trumpet player, and met musicians in Cuba and said, wow, there's Latin music down there that's very much like jazz. There's a lot of improvisation. And then a lot of the American jazz players went down to South America, and they met the musicians down there, and then they came up to New York and to the States, and it's just a whole milieu of music and culture.
I took rock history in college. Obviously, you see a subject like that, you're going to take it, right? So and you're trying to put it all together, and you can't. You just can't put every working piece together and how all music formed and whatever. But it was a really good exercise in going back and doing it. And you mentioned Dizzy Gillespie. Have you have you seen the movie with Ethan Hawke that was made here in Sudbury?
Yes, actually, and the musicians that played actually are friends of mine. Tony Simkin was in that movie, and the trumpet player that did the music was someone who I met and found out that he was from Sudbury. Kevin Turcott did the trumpet, and I brought Kevin to the Jazz Sudbury Festival often, a number of times. And so that was really, really interesting. And there was a very good piano player in Toronto. His name was David Braid, and he got in touch with me, and he was interested in figuring out, because they had asked him to do the music for that movie, and he said, would you be able to connect me to any of the jazz musicians in town, because we're probably going to want to use those people in the movie. And that's how that happened. So it was really, really great. I wasn't able to get into the movie because when they ask you to be an extra, you have to be available, and they will just call you at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and they say, okay, we want you, and we can't tell you what time you're going to be on. You have to be available basically 12 hours. And I was teaching at Laurentian, so I wasn't able to do it. So I was disappointed about that, but I was happy to see all my other friends, play in that movie. Is really exciting.
But you still were instrumental, no pun intended, instrumental in getting a lot of the musicians who did end up being in the movie, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
and I'm really glad they use Sudbury musicians, because we hear a lot about that with the film industry. Oh, they're going to, use as much local talent as possible. And sometimes you question that. You say, really? Like, they seem to have brought a lot of people in, but the fact that they've used so many Sudbury musicians, and even the trumpet player himself, like that's a huge role, being the whole movie is based around a musician playing that instrument. So, very interesting stuff. Now, the Jazz Festival this year, Judy Strawn, who put us in touch with each other, which I really appreciate her as a human being. She's very involved in the arts and instrumental as well in networking a lot of people together. She does a really great commercial for the Jazz Festival, and it's starting September 11th and goes to what was it, the 13th, or does it go?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, 11th to the 13th.
Yeah.
And what's some of the highlights, if you were to do your pitch on why people should come down and partake in the Jazz Festival? What are some of the highlights that you can kind of?
Well, every year, as you know, I'm the artistic director, so I get to pick the music and decide what's going to be the flavor of that year, and I always have an idea of how can I have a theme or an idea. Sometimes we've done the festival where I do mostly women, like it's all women. Sometimes, all the headliners are women. This year, my idea was to focus on another program that's part of the festival. It's called the RBC Emerging Artist Showcase. And what we do is we pick a winner from a number of applications. They send us their music and we listen to it, and then we choose the best music of that, and then we present them on the festival. They actually open the first concert. So that's what we're doing with this. But my idea also was, many of these winners, especially with Jazz Sudbury, the winners of this program have gone on to become really great jazz players and have a wonderful career, and they're playing all over the world. It's really, really quite quite incredible. So I wanted to bring back one of those winners was, and his name is a young pianist, absolutely fabulous player, Anthony D'Alessandro. So I'm bringing his quartet, and he will play right after the winner. And the winner this year is a bassist, a bass player from Toronto. He's originally from Victoria, British Columbia, but he's been studying music in Toronto, and he sent in an application, and it's really really great. His band is really, I mean, these young players are, I don't know how they do it, but they have so much professionalism. They can be on the stage the same as like these people that have been playing for years. It's really quite incredible.
Well, it seems like that initiative that you took was a stepping stone for a lot of musicians in their musical careers, type of thing, right? I won the chance to play at Sudbury Jazz Festival, whatever. I was the winner. It goes on the resume, and then it could get them other gigs and stuff
That's
too,
right.
right?
That's right.
No, that was
And I
really
was
great.
happy when I was happy when I did actually go to Anthony's website, and I was reading, and he has it right on. He says the winner of the emerging artist for Jazz Sudbury Festival. So
Exactly.
and I'm like, wow, that makes me very proud. That our program is making waves all over.
For
Yeah, it's
sure.
really really great.
And like you said, and then you have people to invite back again, right? And if you didn't have
Exactly.
had that particular method of going out and putting a net out there and asking for people to kind of send in their material to you know to be the winner, like to be part of the contest or whatever, then you wouldn't have even
Exactly.
have known they had existed in the first place. And now you have more to draw from and bring them back and stuff. So no,
Yeah.
it was a really great idea for sure. So that's some of the highlights. So the theme this year is
Well, it's kind of, the young people,
young.
I like young people, and the importance of keeping a culture happening, no matter what it is, whether it's a French culture, or, and there's not as many French people around, or they're not using their language as much, or if it's jazz music. I mean, there's a famous quote that started even way back in the 1950s, and someone said, well, is jazz dead? Yeah, some people were saying, well, jazz is dead, they're not really doing jazz anymore. you
Hmm.
know well, jazz has changed, yes, but it's certainly not dead. And when you listen to these young people, you realize, wow, they're instilling the history of that music, but they're taking it a step forward into new areas of jazz music. So I
Yeah.
think our audience are really going to enjoy Anthony D'Alessandro and his quartet, and also Josh Warren's quintet before that, the emerging winner. It's really really going to be great. Now, something that we also do is we try to not only just do jazz music, we try to use world music as well. So I have a headliner that I'm bringing in. Her name is Eliana Cuevas. She's originally from Venezuela, and her husband is Jeremy Ledbetter. Jeremy Ledbetter is a keyboard player, he's a piano player, he's a symphony conductor. He arranges music for many different bands. He's the leader of a number of different bands. And so they're coming, and they're bringing a percussionist as well. So that's going to be the Latin world music color that will be part of the festival this year. So we're happy to have Eliana and Jeremy coming again. Jeremy has come with his bands, different bands, many times for Jazz Sudbury Festival.
Have you ever had just people that aren't normally exposed to this type of music live, let's say, and they just get dragged along or something, and then they're like afterwards, they're like, "Wow, I didn't realize how amazing it is to just to experience this music live." Have you seen that before along the road?
I think so. I mean, it's, a lot of people, when they hear the word jazz music, they think, well, I don't know what that is, and maybe I won't like it. It sounds like it's very complicated, and you have to know something if you want to enjoy it, and that's not true. It's music. It's just music, whether it's rock or country or Celtic or jazz or world or Latin. It's just music, and all you have to do is listen to it. You don't have to know everything about it, but it's the same as anything. If you get interested in something, and so then you want to find out something more about that, so you go to the library and you get a book and you read about that that thing, whatever it is. Then you're going to enjoy that, whatever it is, whether it's carpentry or plumbing or
Yeah,
whatever, then you'll appreciate, what's
for
going
sure.
on.
The way I look
But
at
you
like
don't have to. But you don't have to. All you
true.
have to do is listen.
The way I look at jazz in a way, and probably from the common person's, it'll be this analogy or metaphor will be relatable. Is like you go to the grocery store and you buy the cheese that's in the cheese, the regular kinds you get all the time, the black diamonds and the whatever, and they're marble cheese, and it's just middle of the road. It's whatever you use it to put it on your hamburger or whatever in the mouth. But then someone comes along and says, "Try this cheese. It's made in Quebec and it's made in a farm, and it's just this." And you taste it and you're like, "What the heck is that? That's one of the
Yeah.
best things I've ever tried in my life." Well, it's
Yeah.
just cheese, but at the same time, it's a certain kind of cheese that's, and then you find out, wait a minute, there's more than that too. There's different kinds, and you're trying them all, and you're like, wow, I just didn't realize the world of cheese, and it's different. So you use your senses of taste, but it's different. It's a hearing sense where it's similar, where you're like, wait a minute here, there's just something unique and different about this, and it's music, so it's touching my soul in a certain way, different than maybe if I'm just going to go see my favorite artist who comes to the Sudbury Arena or whatever that I listen to on the radio all the time. That's your cheese you'll get in the grocery store all the time you're used to. But then you try
Exactly.
these other types of things and you just become more enriched because of your exposure to it. And there's just nothing that beats sitting down in a little club with a jazz band playing there. You know what I mean? There's an atmosphere to that I think everyone should at least experience at least once.
Well, since you're going to talk about cheese, then I'm going to do the connection to jazz. And of course, if we talk about cheese here in Sudbury, there's there's a place you can go. It's called La Fromagerie,
We
and La Fromagerie has a connection with jazz because jazz music used to be played at La Fromagerie like weekly, and it still is. So I thought it's been a while since we have done jazz music with the festival because we used to have my Laurentian jazz combo play every week at La Fromagerie. So I got in touch with Val and I said, "Oh, we need to have some jazz music again in the Fromo," and she said, "I'd love to." So we're doing on Friday on the 12th. We're going to call it a club crawl. We're starting first with the Tony Simkin Trio at Little Montreal because we used to play at Little Montreal as well. And I got in touch with Beverly Bayard and I said, "Oh, Bev, we haven't had jazz at Little Montreal. Maybe it's time again to do that." And she said, "I'd love it." So we're starting with the Tony Simkin Trio with Brian Quebec on bass and Jack Brompton on drums. I'll probably sit in with them as well. And that starts around 5 o'clock at Little Montreal. It's a 2 hour set. And then after that, we're going to move over to La Fromagerie, and we're gonna feature Sarah Craig Trio with Chris Dardick on drums, and a very good friend of mine, Jean-Yves Bégin, on tenor saxophone. And they're going to play from 7 to 9, and I'll probably sit in because I've played with Sarah a number of times, and Jean-Yves and Chris. And then we're going to move over to 84 Station. And you were talking about, jazz music, and well, that this is going to be blues. We're going to do blues music, and we're going to feature Tommy Fife and the Whiskey River Blues Band. And I did Tommy's last album, and I did a bunch of clarinet on it as well as saxophone. So, bringing that clarinet out again. So, yeah.
I'm really interested. I have to take a listen to clarinet in a blues song. So
Yeah, in a blues thing. Yeah. Well,
wow.
Tommy plays, blues and New Orleans feel and jazz, and
Okay, okay then.
it's all
Yeah,
connected. So
cool.
it works. So then we finish off the Friday night at 84 Station. So that's going to
Whew.
be great.
Right
And
along Elgin Street there, just making
yeah,
the rounds around
we're just
Elgin.
moving right along. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. That is so cool. So where can people get tickets for this? How much
Well,
are
I
they?
always say you can go to jazzsudbury.com, and you'll have all the information there, that everything that I'm talking about is going to be there, about the emerging artist, about the club crawl. And then after that, we're going to talk, of course, about Saturday we've decided, um, we need to have a more family oriented community, and we got in touch with Jeff McIntyre in the city, and they're going to close the end of Larch Street, and we're going to make a stage right in front of the Place des Arts, and they're going to have a market behind 84 Station in the parking lot there. And so the stage is going to be there. The market is going to be there. We're going to have my Nickel City Stompers. We're going to do a little parade and go through all the market, and then come back up onto the stage and do a concert with the Stompers, which is primarily New Orleans style jazz. And at the same time, we're going to be having a kids activity tent where the children are going to have an opportunity to make little musical instruments.
Wow.
And then I'm going to invite those kids to come with us, and we're going to parade, and they're going to parade behind the band, and we're going to go through all the market there with the kids. And they're going to have kazoos and shakers and little percussions, and yeah, so it's going to be really, really a lot of fun for the kids.
And what time
Yeah.
is that on Saturday for the
That
kiddies?
starts the market starts at 9, and we're going to be starting with the parade probably around 11, and we'll have the concert, and the concert will be about an hour and a half long, and then we'll do some parading with the kids, and like I say, that activity was going to be happening through the whole morning and afternoon. And then after noon, probably around 1 o'clock, we're going to have the Swing Fever Octet, and they're a really, really great group as well, similar to the Stompers, but they play swing music, which of course is
Nice.
jazz,
Nice.
and they play different types of popular songs as well. So I might even ask some of them to come and parade and be part of and we'll just do another parade, and we'll get kids, and we'll go around again. So
Neat.
that's my plan.
That's awesome. And then it all wraps up on Sunday, right?
Well, we're not doing anything on Sunday.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
typically it's interesting that you should say that, because
Yeah.
we used to do something on Sunday as well. But what we used to do on Sunday, we used to have choirs come in from Toronto
Mm-hmm.
and do kind of a church feel
For sure.
with
Yeah.
a choir, like blues and things like that.
Yep.
And then we would also have the emerging artist workshop. We would usually pick one of the headlining artists to do a workshop with the new young players, so they could discuss how do you start a career, what do you do, like, do you do publishing? If you write music, how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need an agent? Do you need a manager? How do you start a career? And what about recording? Like you do recording stuff with Billy. You
Yeah.
need to meet these people, and you need to figure out where are the studios. How do you do this? How do you meet other musicians and start a band and start a group? So that workshop will probably this year, it will probably be online.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
many of the applications came from people not only here in Sudbury but Toronto. Like I say, one of the players that won, he's from Victoria. So we're going to do that on probably online. We haven't decided when that will be, and I will probably have Anthony D'Alessandro be the person that does that workshop.
That's so cool. So can a like, let's say for the children, because the children aspect really, now we got to wrap up the show, so we got about 20 seconds or so. But can someone get family tickets for this? Because there's a children's aspect.
It's free. It's free. It's
for
completely
that
free.
part. Oh,
Yeah.
So
And
just
Friday is free as well, in the club dates. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is
So
great.
the only ticket that you need is on the Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
it's really,
cool.
yeah, it's really, really kind of cool. There are many festivals that happen that are free.
Huh.
There was one that just happened, an international jazz festival in Detroit. It's completely free. When you go to the Montreal Jazz Festival, I would say 65% of the concerts are free.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
Well, I'm glad that it is, because I mean that prices can fit anyone's budget.
Right, that's true. But get a ticket and come to the Thursday because you won't be disappointed. The music is absolutely amazing.
You'll get your money's worth.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Alan. I really appreciate it. Finally, we got a chance to meet and actually do a really good show. Can you believe we've been talking the better part of an hour?
Oh, yeah. It doesn't take long.
Doesn't feel like that one bit when you start chatting. So thanks again for your inaugural being on Sudbury News Talk, and look forward to your show on Wednesday evenings, correct, on CKLU?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, in the afternoon, 2 to 4.
2 to 4 on Wednesdays. CKLU, you can check out Sounds of Jazz. Is that what it's called?
It's called Jazz Sounds.
See, oh my God. See, that's why I clarify things just to make sure. Jazz Sounds, and you can check out the Sudbury Jazz Festival, as we just talked about for quite a while there, just to give you a glimpse into what you can expect this coming up starting September 11th, Thursday, September 11th. That's when you're going to get your tickets. And then the rest of the festival is free. And there's a lot of family activities and things. So it's going to be a great time. So go to SudburyJazzFestival.com. Is that what it is?
It's JazzSudbury.com.
JazzSudbury.com. Again, that's why I clarify things. JazzSudbury.com to get your tickets. Thanks again, Alan. Appreciate you being on the show. And
thanks so much, Aaron.
Best of luck with everything. And we'll have you on at another time for another chat, another day.
Very good.
Okay. Have a good one.
Thanks, Aaron.
Okay. Ciao. Okay, that's all the time we got for today. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. We'll see you same time, same place on the same platforms, God willing, tomorrow. Take care for now. Ciao.
is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.